सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Today we are going to be talking about Vedanta in English literature, and we've taken up Wordsworth's poem Laodamia. Now, the first question that might occur to you is, why are we studying Vedanta through English literature? Don't we have plenty of Indian texts to study it? We can study Bhagavad Gita, we can study Atma Bodha, we can study Bhaja Govindam. Why do we have to go and study it from William Wordsworth? The reason we do this is because we must try to see a universality in knowledge. This is not, Vedanta is not the purview of Indians, as if we are the sole repositories of knowledge. Knowledge is available all over the world. Anyone who has thought about these things will find the same knowledge. Truth is not different. Here we have one truth and there they have one truth. Here we believe in Pativrata. There they believe in Valentine's Day. There is no such thing. The truth is the truth is the truth. It's the same thing. So now, to take away this concept that here is what we Indians think is right, we will see the same concepts by the great thinkers in Western life. No different. We will see as we go along. The same thing. Because truth is universal. Any human being who thinks about it will find the same truth. You won't find different truths. So now we'll see a Western thinker, what he has to say about the topic he is dealt with, which is love and attachment in our language. There are 3 poems in your book on love and attachment. Laodamia is the first one. Laodamia is the story of a woman's attachment to her husband. Then the second one is Andrea del Sarto by Browning, the story of man's attachment to his wife. And the third one, the very famous one, Sohrab and Rustum, the story of attachment between parent and child. 3 stories, 3 tragedies, all deriving from the same basic concept. Human beings do not learn the difference between love and attachment. Now, this story of Laodamia is set in the time of Helen of Troy. As you know, Helen has been abducted. The Greek armada has to set out to get her back. They are going to Troy. You know the story of Iliad. And they have to go get her back, and this armada has started. They've come. The story goes that the Delphic oracle had predicted the first soldier, the first Greek who lands on Trojan soil is going to be killed in the war. This was the prediction. So as the armada was approaching, there was debate. Who should be first? Normally the leader will go first, no? But if they send the leader first, he's going to die. So they can't send some general. The general will die. They can't send a foot soldier. They can't send an ordinary soldier, because that would be like they're calling themselves cowards. So what do? So this debate is on. When this debate is on, Protesilaus, the prince, jumps out and touches the Trojan soil. So as the oracle had foretold, in the war, Protesilaus is killed. Now this story of the poem starts after this. Protesilaus is now dead, and his wife Laodamia who is head over heels in love with him, cannot live without him. So she prays to God. She prays to great Jove and says, "Restore him to my sight, great Jove, restore. Give me back my husband." And she goes on doing her tapas to get her husband back. And miracle of miracles, great Jove restores him. He sends Parthasarathy back to earth. And this poem is the conversation of Parthasarathy who has come back. He's come back for 3 hours. They have a conversation. Laodamia talks about what she feels. He talks about what he is going through. And why this poem is so beautiful is because it's a very easy contrast between what is true love and what is impure love. Impure love we call attachment, true love we call love. So this conversation brings out very beautifully the contrast between these two things, which is why it is so important for us to read it. Wordsworth, as you know, was a philosopher, a poet-philosopher. And you also studied his other poem. Which one? Daffodils. Daffodils is a poem of, most people think it's about a weed. It's actually about the spiritual path. The whole poem talks about what is the spiritual path. But he is all the time, throughout his, as one of the most popular romantic poets. Romantic means not in our sense romantic. Romance as the era of writing. The love of nature. He has always brought out beautiful philosophy through whatever he has written. So we are going to see one of the great examples of how through his writing he has brought out this deep philosophical concept. We've studied it in Vedanta. For those who have attended the classes, we've studied it. But here is the same view, and a beautiful view, contrasting love and attachment. With sacrifice before the rising morn, vows have I made by fruitless hope inspired. And from the infernal guardsmith shade forlorn of night, my slaughtered lord have I required. Celestial pity I again implore. Restore him to my sight, great Jove, restore. So the poem starts with her prayer to God. She's praying to him. It's sacrifice before the rising morn. It's early morning at 4 o'clock. She got up and did tapas. Sacrifice before the rising morn. Early morning. We have a concept, no? We have to get up early in the morning. Western world, no such concept. No, same concepts are everywhere. She got up at 4 o'clock and she prayed to God. Now please don't get up at 4 o'clock and start praying to God. Let us apply ourselves to proper studies. With sacrifice before the rising morn, vows have I made by fruitless hope inspired. Even though she knows that this what she's asking for is almost impossible to get. And how is a dead person supposed to come back? By fruitless hope inspired, from the infernal gods, my slaughtered lord have I required. I have asked for my husband who has died in battle to come back to me. Celestial pity I again implore. Celestial divine pity. I ask the gods to pity me, to feel bad for my sorrow. Restore him to my sight, great Jove. Restore. Give him to my sight. She asked to see him again. So speaking and by fervent love endowed with faith, the suppliant heavenward lifts her hands, while like the sun emerging from a cloud, her countenance brightens and her eye expands. Her bosom heaves and spreads, her stature grows. She expects the issue in repose. She is praying and she expects that her prayer will be answered. O terror, what had she perceived? O joy, what doth she look on? Whom doth she behold? Her hero slain upon the beach of Troy? his vital presence, his corporeal mold? It is. If sense deceive her not, it is he. And God leads him, winged Mercury. So great Jove has restored Protesilaus. Protesilaus has come, led by winged Mercury. Mercury is supposedly having wings, that's why he could fly him there, fly him from heavens back to earth. So she is terror. What has she perceived? What has she seen? Oh my God, joy. Is it actually him? Has Protesilaus come back? He is brought back by the god Mercury. Mild Hermes spake and touched her with his wand that calms all fear. Such grace had crowned thy prayer, Laodamia, that at Jove's command thy husband walks the paths of upper air. He comes to tarry with thee 3 hours space. Accept the gift, behold him face to face. So mild Hermes means Mercury. So Mercury says to her, first touches her with the wand that calms all fear. And she only asks for it. She gets it and she's terrified. This is life. You ask for something, you get it, and you're terrified. Same idea you have in the Arjuna asked for Vishwarupa Darshan. He got it and he's terrified. This is life. You don't know what you're asking for. When you get it, you're terrified. Laodamia. Such grace hath crowned thy prayer, Laodamia, that at Jove's command thy husband walks the paths of upper air. He's come back to earth. Protesilaus has come back. He comes to tarry with thee 3 hours space. How long has he come back for? 3 hours. She is madly in love with him. She has been sobbing and weeping for him. She gets him, but for 3 hours. Don't you feel sorry for her? Only 3 hours? What's 3 hours? But just imagine, if it had not been 3 hours, it had been 3 days, would you feel less sorry for her? Suppose it hadn't been 3 days, it had been 30 days. Would you feel less sorry? 3 years? 30 years? After 30 years, would she say, okay, Protesilaus, you can go now? At any point the separation will happen, it is going to hurt. That is why Vairagya Shatakam says that there should be a separation between you and the object is inevitable. If the object leaves you, you will be miserable. If you leave the object, it conduces to happiness. That doesn't mean we have to physically leave everything, but in our own minds. Renunciation is something of our own minds. In our minds, if we are able to leave it, leave that clinging to things, then when the inevitable separation comes, we will not die, and during the relationship, we will have a good time. When we are clinging in a relationship, during the relationship, it is torture. And when it ends, it is torture. Both ways it is torture. How? We'll see now. He's going to explain all these things. So he says, accept the gift, behold him face to face. She had asked, remember, I want to see him. So that's what he's got. Forth sprang the impassioned queen, her lord to clasp. Again that consummation she essayed. But unsubstantial form eludes her grasp, as often as that eager grasp was made. The phantom parts, but parts to reunite, and resume his place before her sight. So she sees Protesilaus, she jumps up to grab him. This is Laodamia. She's always trying to grab, always trying to climb. So what happens? The phantom parts. It's not a person, it's not something you can hold. This is the first concept in a relationship. You cannot hold the other person. If you love something, let it go. How many times you heard this? Let it go. You can't hold on to things. It is not in the natural order of things to be held. See, suppose somebody holds you. Will you like it? Suppose somebody comes and grabs you. You will say, why are you holding me? That's exactly what another person would say. So she jumps up to grab him, but it's a phantom. You cannot hold it. The unsubstantial form eludes her grasp, as often as that eager grasp was made. The phantom parts, but parts to reunite and reassume his place before her sight. Do you realize what is happening? When we want something in this world and we fervently pray for it, we fervently act for it, whatever we do for it, we have set up some desire and we do all sorts of things to get that whatever desire we have set for ourselves, not recognizing that anything that we ask for is by its nature limited. What we are looking for is infinite happiness. What we are asking for is a finite thing. See the irony of that? How is a finite thing supposed to give you infinite happiness? How is this possible? Yet we are asking. We are saying, I want that. Believing from the bottom of our hearts that should I get that, I'll be fine. Has it ever happened that we have got what we wanted and we were fine? Has this ever happened? So many times in the past we've got whatever we asked for. But were we fine? No, there was something else. Why would there always be something else? Because what we are looking for is the infinite. It is impossible for a human being to understand that at any stage of the proceedings, whatever we claim to be asking, we are really asking for God. You claim you're asking for something. What do you want? I want a child. No, what you want is God. What nonsense. Of course I want a child. I've been wanting a child for years. Do you want a child who's deaf and dumb? No. I want a child who's normal. Okay. Do you want the child to predecease you? No. He must not predecease me. Okay. Do you want him to marry a horrible woman? No. He must get a good wife also. Do you want him to be poor? No. He must be rich also. So when you say you want a child, he must be able to talk, he must be able to hear, he must be able to walk, he must be able to be a good son to you, he must be not predecease you, he must get married, his wife must be something, his children must be something. This is infinite in any object. I want a house. You want a house? I want a house and I want a Pog and Paul kitchen in it. Okay, do you want only Pog and Paul kitchen and nothing else in the rest of the house? No. Must have nice sofas in the rest of the house. And do you want to live alone? No. My friends must also come to that house. Such a beautiful house I've made. Nobody is coming. It'll go on and on and on and on. So any time in my life I've asked for anything, what I've actually wanted is God, because infinity is God. I only wanted that. I've said it to myself over and over again, but I have not understood this. So here in this case, you see, what has Laodamia asked for? Restore him to my sight, great Jove, restore. What is she asked for? Restore him to my sight, great Jove, restore. Restore him to my sight, let me see him again. She thinks that she wants to see him again. But what does she really want? As soon as she can see him, she reaches out to grab him. We are always asking for something finite, but what we are meaning is the infinite. So that's what he tells her. See, she went to hold his hand or whatever, to which he says, the phantom parts. She didn't ask for this. She asked for sight. So what she got was sight. The mistake we make in our life is we ask for something. If you ask for it, you'll get it. But because you've asked for that, you may not get what you have not asked for. So if you are going to play safe and you want everything, then you must ask for, ask for everything. Yeah. Why ask for only, oh, give me a house? Why are you asking for a house? Why don't you ask for the whole thing? God himself is standing in front of us saying, here you take whatever you want. You say, give me a house. Then why don't you say, give me everything? Give me everything means give me you. Because nothing else is everything. The phantom parts, but parts to reunite and resume his place before her sight. What an ironical thing. She's prayed, worked to get what? Sight. When she has sight, not enough. Protesilos, lo, thy guide is gone. Confirm, I pray, the vision with thy voice. This is our palace. Yonder is your throne, is thy throne. Speak, and the floor should thou treads on will rejoice. Not to appall me have the gods bestowed this precious boon, and blessed a sad abode. O Protesilos, say something. Common complaint, no, of all wives. Please say something. Protesilos, lo. Look, O Protesilos, thy guide is gone. We are alone now. Confirm thy presence with thy voice. Let me hear you say something. This is our palace. Yonder is thy throne. Protesilos was the prince. So here is the palace. That is thy throne. Speak, and the floor thou treads on will rejoice. Transferred epithet. The floor is not going to rejoice. She is going to rejoice. She just wants to hear him speak. All this labor she has put in to get this. Not to appall me have the gods bestowed this precious boon. It cannot be that the gods are so unkind and cruel to me. So please speak to me so that I may know that you are not just a figment of my imagination. Great Jove, Laodamia, doth not leave his gifts imperfect. Spectre though I be, I am not sent to scare thee or deceive, but in reward of thy fidelity. And something also did my worth obtain, for fearless virtue bringeth boundless gain. If this was a literature class, you would have to underline the last line. For fearless virtue bringeth boundless gain. So Protesilos speaks here. He says, Great Jove, O Laodamia, does not leave his gifts imperfect. If you've asked for something, you will get it. Spectre though I be, I am not sent to scare or deceive thee. Though I am a ghost, I am a spectre. It's not to deceive. It's not to fool you or to frighten you. But in reward of thy fidelity. How do you get anything in this world? As a reward of thy fidelity. If you notice, very strange in the Indian Puranas and all these stories you'll hear that all the demons did tapas and they asked for the most horrible things and they got them. So if you read it, you'll think, what's wrong with God? Why is he giving them all these boons? Because God will give the boon, then that demon will wreak havoc with that boon. Then who has to solve this problem? God only has to come and solve the problem. So why does he create confusion for himself? Why did he give the boon in the first place? Haven't you ever asked this question? Why do this? Oh, whole unnecessary thing. You know he's a demon. You know you will use it for negative things. Then why give it? These stories are only metaphorical or allegorical. What it means is, regardless of who you are and what you are, if you do whatever you need to do to get something, you get it. In reward of thy fidelity, if you maintain your fidelity towards any cause that you have kept for yourself, negative or positive, you go in that direction, you will have to get that thing. It's a law. If at all I have not got anything, it's because I have not maintained fidelity towards my cause. Not luck, not stars, not God. God Himself cannot prevent us from getting something that we deserve. You do all you need to do to get it, and you'll get it. No questions asked. You can't say, oh, this boy is very selfish, that boy is very unselfish, but how come this selfish boy came first in class? No connection. If whoever studied gets it, he learns it. You may be selfish, unselfish, selfish, doesn't come into the equation in that manner at all. So why did Laodamia get back Parthasarathy? Fidelity to that cause. If you are Savitri, you will get Satyavan. If you are not, forget it. What it means is, you have to keep working for what you want. All the time we are hoping somebody else will work for what we want. If I want something, I'm never willing to do whatever I need to do to get it. Somebody must get this, somebody must do that, and if at all I'm not successful, I didn't get enough chances, or somebody was not kind to me, or something. All success stories are people who have succeeded in spite of what is happening, not because of what is happening. So in reward of thy fidelity, you stay focused on your cause, you will have to obtain that. And this is highlighted in Indian scriptures. You hear it all highlighted all the time. There's a girl in Mahabharata who, for all complicated reasons, hated Bhishma. Bhishma was the greatest warrior of that time, but she wanted to fight him and kill him. And the story goes that she did all this tapas, so that eventually she gave up the body, took up another body, and in the war of Mahabharata, she was the cause of his death. He actually, next Janma it was a he, right? Just going to show that if you are determined with whatever you are determined with, you have no option but to get it. But in reward of thy fidelity, and something also did my worth obtain, for fearless virtue bringeth boundless gain. If you want to get anything, the first thing you have to do is work for it. Work very, very hard for it. Work so hard for it that you get it. That hard. If you haven't got it, it means you haven't worked. Many people have worked and not got, no? You haven't worked hard enough. Work harder. Don't say, no, I worked very hard. If you haven't got it, you haven't done enough work. Simple. Because if you do enough work, you have to get it. For fearless, and something also did my worth obtain. See the humility of Parthasarathy. How was this achieved? Work will get you what you want. But for your work to get you peace as well, you will need one other thing. If you have to get anything, how will you get it? By work. But with your getting it, if you also want to have contentment and peace, you will have to add one other ingredient in it. And that ingredient is the ingredient of unselfishness. Work gets you the object. But if you get that work, if that work be self-centered work, you will get merely the object, no happiness from that object. But if with that work you also had unselfishness, then the object will come to you along with its happiness. So he says, and something also did my worth obtain. What is his worth? He was a great hero. He gave up his life for his people, For fearless virtue bringeth boundless gain. If ever in life we can take this stance without considering ourselves, work, what he says later on, a generous cause a victim did demand. There is a cause, and that cause requires a victim. Are you willing to jump? If you are, it bringeth boundless gain. For all who studied chapter 3, you've already studied this. He says, from Yajna. Yajna, remember Yajna? The art of cooperative endeavor. Working for something noble in life. If you can do that, you gain boundless gain. Boundless gain. In the Bhagavad Gita, this boundless gain is referred to as, don't say we didn't do chapter 3. Huh? Okay, prasad you may get little also, no? Boundless gain. Okay, no, what is the term used in the Gita, remember? If when you do yajna, what are you going to get? Forgot. He says, let this be. If you do yajna, if you develop the capacity to do yajna, yajna means sacrificial attitude towards work, cooperative endeavor, simply being able to put other people before yourself. Prabhu, after you. Pehle up. Just this attitude in life. Am I meeting anyone with the idea of what am I going to get out of him? Or am I meeting him with the idea, what can I do for you? What can I do in your welfare?
Is it fame?
Fame? Boundless gain. Boundless gain. He says, if you are able to live like that, live in the spirit of yajna. He says, let this be your Kamadhenu. You know Kamadhenu? The mythical cow of heaven. If you go to Kamadevi and say, Ma Kamadhenu, please give me a Rolls Royce. Fatak, Rolls Royce. Boundless gain. That attitude of service and sacrifice. Fearless virtue bringeth boundless gain. If we cultivate that attitude of service and sacrifice, it will become for us our Kamadhenu. And if you see in life, people who have been willing to serve and sacrifice, they've got huge things, amazing things, without wanting it, without being interested in it. Things just fall into their laps.
Fulfillment of all desires.
Fulfillment of all desires. Kamadhenu, you know, no? It's the cow that anything you ask for, you will get. Same concept. He says, and something also did my worth obtain, for fearless virtue bringeth boundless gain. If you have fearless virtue, meaning what? Your capacity to sacrifice, it bringeth boundless gain. It will become your Kamadhenu. It will convert everything you touch to gold. The problem with us is we are not able to leave our self-centeredness. Whatever happens, whatever we do, our self-centeredness is there to taint it. So the story goes in the Bible that there was a serpent, and Moses was told by God, but the voice of God told Moses, catch it, hold it. And Moses saw this slithering serpent and, how can I hold that? He is not willing to hold it. And the voice of God said, hold it. And Moses couldn't do that. And the voice of God said, hold it, and finally grabbed it. And the story goes that this serpent that he grabbed became the staff of Moses. And this staff of Moses became a wand with which he did miraculous things. When the Pharaoh's men were pursuing the Israelites with that staff, he opened out the Red Sea. When they were in the desert and they required water, through stones, he was able to give them water. It's the same concept. Across cultures, we must see that they're all trying to tell us the same thing. Where the Gita says it will become your Kamadhenu, or the Bible says that it will be your staff of Moses, or Wordsworth tries to tell us that fearless virtue bringeth boundless gain. Across you will find the same general idea. If any one of us is able to give up our self-centeredness, boundless gain. But we don't want to do it. Why? It's a slithering serpent. How can we do it? If anyone tells you to stop, give up your own self-centered interest, you don't want to do it. It's poison. It's horrible. Can't do it. Suppose you tell somebody, Acha, she is not nice to you, you be nice to her. Can't do it. Just can't do it. But if we are able to force ourselves somehow to do it, the quality of life simply changes. You don't know what happened, you don't know why it happened, but the quality of life just changes. The whole difficulty of converting from a self-centered lifestyle to an unselfish lifestyle is that a self-centered person never can enjoy the bliss of unselfishness and therefore is never attracted to it. So it becomes like a vicious circle. You do something selfish, you suffer out of it, you know no better, so you repeat it again and again and again. And there's no way out of this. The only stray hope is knowledge. But when that selfishness is too strong, knowledge cannot permeate. So we are stuck, as it were. But if something happens by which for once we just taste what it means to be unselfish, you would not like to let go of that. What it means to just be sacrificial and to give it up. You must appreciate that those people who grab have no choice to give up, isn't it? But those people who gave up had the choice to grab or give up, isn't it? When he had the choice, he gave up. What does that prove? That must have been better for him, isn't it? The fellow who grabbed, he didn't have the choice. He knew only one thing. But the person who could give up knew both. You know how to give up, then you know how to take also, no? When you know both, if you give up, it must prove that giving up gives you better pleasure. Take a mother, okay, take two children, and they are two sweets. And the children will want to do what? They will want to grab the sweet. But when the mother is there, if it is her favorite sweet, what will she do? Suppose she comes to your house and you give her a sweet, a favorite one, which happens also to be her child's favorite one. What will she do with it? Will she quickly eat it in your house so that, at least the child won't know I've eaten it? What would she do? She'll preserve the sweet. If the child is going to come next day, she'll keep it next day for the child. To give the sweet to the child when she had the choice of eating it or giving it. What did she do? She gave it. Why would you give it? Only because the giving was the greater pleasure. This is difficult for us to swallow. We'll understand, for my child, yes, I'll give. But why are we in the matchbox? Why is it only for my child I can gain pleasure? The pleasure I get from my child, I can get from the whole world if only I learned how to give. My child is pleasurable to me because I'm giving. The whole world will be that pleasurable and more if I learn to give the world. Why am I living in a matchbox? There's nothing stopping me. There's nothing holding me. There's just the fear, like Moses had. How can I touch that? Just a fear. That is why they say bondage is Maya. By Vedantic theory, there is no bondage. Because there is nothing binding you. What is to stop you from giving it? Nothing is binding us. You are free to take or to give. But we feel bound to take for no reason at all. Something happens by which we will experience that bliss of giving, and it will become addictive. That same pleasure which you get from those who you love, you will get from the whole world. The pleasure that we are getting from the people we love is the pleasure that we are able to give. This is available to you from every single person, from every single being. Towards any being you become unselfish, it will become a source of joy. Towards any being you become selfish, it will become a source of agitation. It's simple, but it's difficult. For fearless virtue bringeth boundless gain. If we can do it, give it up. It will become a kamadhenu. It will become the staff of Moses. Thou knowest, the Delphic oracle foretold that the first Greek who touched the Trojan strand should die. But me the threat could not withhold. A generous cause a victim did demand, and forth I leapt upon the sandy plain, a self-devoted chief by Hector slain. Thou knowest, O Laodamia, you knew, that the Delphic oracle had foretold that the first Greek who touched Trojan sand, whoever came first onto the Trojan shore, he was to die. You knew this was the Delphic oracle. But me the threat could not withhold. A generous cause a victim did demand. Here is a cause that required a victim. So many times there is a cause. See, how can it happen in life that every single time everything else must sacrifice to me? When is it my turn to sacrifice? Every time I expect other people to do things for me, other things to do things for me. If I'm driving on the street, I expect everybody to move so that I will drive. When is it my turn to allow somebody else to go? When is it my turn? In each one of our lives, sometime is our turn, no? Sometime we will have to sacrifice. Sometime we will have to give up. How can it happen that my turn never comes? A generous cause a victim did demand. And forth I leapt upon the sandy plain. He jumped out from the boat and landed on the Trojan soil. A self-devoted chief. I volunteered to be the chief in that. I was first, no? Self-devoted, I volunteered. By Hector slain. And the prophecy came true. He died on the battlefield. So she goes into raptures. Supreme of heroes, bravest, noblest, best. Thy matchless courage I bewail no more, which then, when tens of thousands were depressed by doubt, propelled thee to the fatal shore. Thou foundst, and I forgive thee. Here thou art, a nobler counselor than my poor heart. So she goes into raptures, because Parthasarathy is a person who is somebody you can really look up to. So he's a supreme of heroes. Bravest, noblest, best. He was really the best. Thy matchless courage I bewail no more. When tens of thousands were depressed by doubt, how many thousands of people, not one of them ready to sacrifice themselves? Isn't it? You see that every day, every time. So many people, not one of them willing to sacrifice themselves. And you notice any profession that makes it part of it to sacrifice is always a profession you look up to. The army, all your defense forces, It's part of their profession to sacrifice. So we look up to them. Anywhere, doctors, why do we look up to them? Middle of the night, you're not well. He's sleeping. He's also had a tough day, no? You have phoned him and he comes over. Sacrifice. Nowadays, doctors are not respected so much because this is gone now. He's not doing it anymore. Now he's thinking about his 4-bedroom house. Switch the phone off. So it's not available at night. Wherever there is sacrifice, why do we appreciate the rishis of yore? Why do we appreciate anyone? It is only because of their capacity to sacrifice. So, when tens of thousands were depressed by doubt, your matchless courage drove you to that shore. Thou art found, you are found, and I forgive thee. What is she forgiving him for? So you see, there's a confusion of thought. What is he to be forgiven for? Here thou art. See, supreme of heroes, bravest, noblest, best, I forgive thee. You see the confusion. Whenever there is attachment, one of the clear signs of attachment is loss of clarity. You have completely different views on the same subject. And you don't even know that. It's interesting. The psychology as it plays out in an attached person's mind. Supreme of heroes, bravest, noblest, best, I forgive thee. The irony of it will never strike her. What are you saying? Either you think him this or you think him this. When her intellect works, he is the noblest of heroes. When her mind works, I forgive thee. This confusion goes on. You are found. I found you. Now, you are a nobler counselor than my poor heart. Because he's a rock steady person, so he's a nobler counselor than my poor heart. My poor heart means because of attachment, I really do not know what I need to do. But thou, though capable of sternest deed, what kind is resolute and good is brave. And he whose power restores thee had decreed thou shouldst elude the malice of the grave. Redundant are thy locks, thy lips as fair, as when their breath enriched the Elysian air. You have the description of Sattva. Here is a person, noble person depicted. What is his depiction? But thou, though capable of sternest deed, were kind. The sattvic quality is always the merger of the pairs of opposites. Anything to be wonderful must have both. It must be hard, it must be soft. It must be capable of sternest deed and kind. Anybody who has to lead has to have both these qualities. If you're not kind, you don't understand what other people are going through. If you're not stern, you cannot lead them. You cannot be wishy-washy as a leader. You have to be stern. Stick to whatever you have to do. And you have to be kind. It means both mind and intellect have to function in Vedantic language. Mind must be pure, intellect has to be clear. And that is the nature of Sattva. You have to be obstinate and flexible. You have to be hard-hitting and soft. You have to be loving, you have to be harsh. This is Sattva. You have to be relaxed, you have to be hardworking. If you're only relaxed, tamas. If you're only hardworking, rajas. Sattva is relaxed hard work. this capacity to always stay on the middle path, to be able to merge all the opposites within oneself. Sattva. You find everybody will go to this side or that side. Either we are Rajasic or we are Tamasic. We will not stay in the middle. Staying in the middle is known in the Upanishads. It's called the path, the razor's edge. A little here, little there, you're off. And we are walking around like drunken sailors. Here and there, all over the place we have gone. So what is sattva? Same. What you have to understand, you know these concepts. What you have to understand is the depth of similarity there is. If over here we said this, if over there he said that, same thing he said. Should it not add to our conviction on the truth? Should we not realize that if I sit down and now think, I will find the same thing? Therefore, from tomorrow onwards, I should say loudly. From tomorrow onwards, I should get up early and study with prayers before the rising morn. It starts like that. But thou, though capable of sternest deed, were kind as resolute, good as brave. You find the good people are not brave and the brave people are not good. Dawood Ibrahim, I don't know him. Yeah, for all I know, he may be a wonderful person, but he doesn't appear to be good. And those who are good, if they hear his name, they will run away. You are good and brave. Redundant are thy locks, thy lips, as fair as when their breath enriched the Elysian air. You are looking to me exactly as you did when you were on Greek land, means on earth. No spectre greets me, no vain shadow this. Come, blooming hero, place thee by my side. Give on this well-known couch one nuptial kiss to me this day, a second time thy bride. Jove frowned in heaven, the conscious Parsi threw upon those roseate lips a Stygian hue. From the raptures of praising him, she now requires sensual indulgence. This is a spectre, it is a ghost. What are you talking about? He has been sent down by the mercy of God. So we move from a higher ideal to the need for sensual indulgence. Jove frowned in heaven. That's not what he had sent him down for. He had sent to give her solace, to give her knowledge. But now she's no longer interested in that. Jove frowned in heaven. The conscious Parsi threw upon those roseate lips a Stygian hue. It's very, very interesting. You know, in India also, when you think about somebody who's very noble, you associate nobility, knowledge, greatness. If you see any Amar Chitra Kathan, if you see any god, behind the god is a halo. All knowledge, nobility, greatness is all associated with light. See, all of them shining with halos. So therefore nowadays if anyone wants to show, Urvi, you missed that, huh? You should have put one like that. More people would have believed this. Something behind. Show light. If you, this association of knowledge and light. So when she does something wrong, what happens? Stygian hue, black color is thrown. Knowledge is light, ignorance is darkness. So as she's falling, it becomes black. As she's rising, it becomes light. It's all interesting imagery. So Jove frowned in heaven. Means you did something wrong. So everything went black. This visage tells thee that my doom is past. This is Parthasarathy speaking again. So she says, no spectre greets me. Laodamia says that. So Parthasarathy answers and says, this visage tells thee that my doom is past. Nor should the change be mourned, even if the joys of sense were able to return as fast and as surely as they vanish. Earth destroys these raptures duly. Erebus disdains. Calm pleasures there abide, majestic pains. So Parthasarathy is trying to advise her and says to her, this visage, this face, tells you, means he's gone black, no now? That my doom is past. My time is gone. I'm not here for these purposes. The time for this is gone. Nor should the change be mourned. Change should never be mourned because change is inevitable. What are you mourning? It's like mourning the changing colors of the traffic light. Where there is red, it has to be green one day. And where it is green, it has to go red. To cry every time the traffic light changes color is only indicative of my narrowness of vision. If I had the whole picture, it had to be, no? What else was to happen? Can I cry every night because the sun has set and rejoice every morning because it has risen? If I do that, it only means I don't understand the picture of day and night. Where there is birth, there has to be death. Where there is meeting, there has to be parting. This is life. Why is it so difficult for us to see the full picture? Where there is joy, there is sorrow. Where there is sorrow, there is joy. Can there be any business on the surface of this earth that has only profit? Where there is profit, there has to be loss. Where there is health, there has to be ill health. How can that be? This body, the fact that it exists, will go through a cycle of health and ill health. It will go on. Some days it will be well, some days it will be sick. Again, some days it will be well, some days it will be sick. The mind, by the fact of its existence, will someday be happy and someday be unhappy. Then again it will be happy, then again it will be sad. The marriage by its nature, some days harmony, some days disharmony. It's a nature. Everything in life is like that. Every time the other side comes, if I have to start sobbing over it, it only shows the narrowness of vision. If I see the whole picture, I understand this is just part of it. What else will happen? Whenever a lecture series starts, it will end. Oh, now it's ended, it's so sad. Now it has begun, it's so sad, it's so happy. Something or the other, there's some reaction to it. Part of life. Where there exists black hair, there will one day be part of life. One day where there is grey hair, there will one day be no hair. Progress, no? Thank God it's there. Whatever color, at least it's there at the moment. Part of life. Part of life. You can't ever have one side without having the other. If a child will rejoice at a toy, he will cry at the breaking of the toy. Part of life. What is there to fuss about? Neither should the change be mourned. Okay. So as soon as she gets him, out of fidelity to the cause, she gets it. But the moment she gets it, she abuses that privilege. What has come back to her is what she has asked for. She has asked to see him. So what she has got is seeing him. But now what she wants is sensual indulgence. Great Jove frowns in heaven. An Stygian hue is thrown on his face. He becomes black. It's a very interesting symbolism, because even in Indian scriptures you find that indulgence is associated with darkness. All the demons are supposed to be dark. There's this whole issue of light and dark. Knowledge is light, nobility is light, indulgence, anything lower, is always signified by it being dark. So demons also portrayed. If you ever see a demon in any of these mythological dramas they show, they are always painted black. And if you talk about a person being very spiritual, you say that he is very tejasvi, means he is bright. So a life of knowledge, a life of discipline makes us bright. Now, literally, please don't take it now all black people are demonic. There is no such thing. Martin Luther King must be a great saint, but dark. So it's not, the tejas is not really about darkness. It is about not the color of black, but there's some kind of brilliance about a person who is disciplined, who is moderate, who is working for something noble in life. So here she says she becomes indulgent. So the color of black is thrown, as it were. So he tells her, this conversation is going down. He says, this visage tells thee my doom is past. This black face now tells you that my doom is past. It's gone. Though the time for all this indulgence is gone. Nor should the change be mourned, even if the joys of sense were able to return as fast and as surely as they vanish. The same idea is there in the Ramayana. Sita was happy as long as her attention was on Rama. When did her sorrow start? When her attention shifted to a golden deer. What is a golden deer? Golden, attractive, deer, fleeting, fast moving. Right? Same thing he's saying here. These sense pleasures are fleeting. They go away very fast. That doesn't mean we shouldn't enjoy them. It means we should not get attached to them. Please enjoy them. Your senses are there for you to enjoy. But if you believe that these things are permanent, if you get attached to them, that's when the trouble starts. Because it is a fact. It is inevitable that the change must come. And since you know for certain that the change is going to come, you must relate with that object in such a way that when the change comes, you are fortified to deal with it. Every time something changes, I need not collapse. My life is nothing but a series of changes, one after the other. And if every change is going to make me collapse, I will become like a mountain range, up, down, up, down, up, down. That's not a way to live. That doesn't mean we shouldn't have emotions. That doesn't mean we shouldn't have enjoyments. That doesn't mean that we should be all fast asleep. Contact the world, relate to the world, enjoy the world, but understand that the world means change. Understand this. You don't have to change anything you're doing. You just have to understand change is inevitable. That's all. It's just a matter of understanding. So he says, neither should this change be mourned, because it's a fact of life. What is there to mourn in it? Earth destroys these raptures duly. On earth, it goes. But calm pleasures there abide. There means in heaven. Majestic pains. The difference between the earthly life, the mortal life, is that we get excited by our pleasures. We get pained by the absence of these pleasures. But what is it in heaven? Calm pleasures there abide, majestic pains. Heaven is not a geographical location. You don't have to go somewhere to heaven. Right here, right now is our heaven, is our hell. If we live a life where we can enjoy our pleasures, if we live a life where our pains are majestic, not a vulgar display, not wearing your heart on your sleeve, every little thing you have to go and tell somebody, you know what happened to me today? Is anybody interested? And what has happened to us is not something fantastic. Oh, see, on the tawa I burnt my finger. Now, what great news is this? All the time our life is one long autobiography is going on. This happened to me, that happened to me, so and so said this, me, all the time. It's a vulgar display of emotion. You'll find always in the lower classes of society, I don't know if you've seen these movies and all they show. They come and they cry and they pull their hair and they go on like that. Very different from majestic pain. It's a beautiful description is given in Ramayana where Rama is leaving. Okay, so who is the person who will feel the saddest? Ram and Sita are leaving. Who is going to feel this maximum? Kaushalya. And the description of her feelings is some beautiful thing. It says, she stood there. They're not weeping and sobbing in anything. She stood there like a cow whose calf is being taken away. It's such a beautiful description because you understand the pain she's going through and you also understand majestic pains. It is not a pain under which she's going to collapse now. She feels it. She feels much more than anyone else feels it. But she continues to hold her dignity. So that's the difference between earthly life and heavenly life. Earthly life and heavenly life is only the difference of the caliber of the person going through it. It has got nothing to do with what he's going through. If a person of low caliber goes through it, he will go up and down, up and down, up and down, like ping pong ball, If a person of higher caliber goes through it, he will take it in a majestic manner, graceful, dignified. You're a human being after all. You cannot behave like animals. You have a stature after all. You cannot just let go and lose control of yourself. So he continues to tell her, be taught, O faithful consort. Be taught, O faithful consort, to control rebellious passion, for the gods approve the depth and not the tumult of the soul, a fervent, not ungovernable love. Thy transports moderate, and meekly mourn when I depart, for brief is my sojourn. Be taught, O faithful consort. So what was her virtue? She was a very faithful consort. Be taught, O faithful consort, to control rebellious passion. What the Bhagavad Gita calls vega. The problem with us is not that we have emotions we should be having. The problem is not that we have desires, that is just a fact of our life. The problem is that these emotions, these desires build up a huge vega. That's the word in the Gita. Huge vega, a huge force, a huge momentum, an ungoverned momentum. And when these emotions and desires build up in that manner, we destroy ourselves. Simple. To take anger. What is road rage? What is any crime? everything is nothing but that desire has built up into a momentum that the individual themselves is not capable of holding anymore. Therefore, crimes that are committed under these states of mind, you can go scot-free. And in the legal terms, it's known as temporary insanity, which it is. A man, Nanavati, remember Nanavati? He shot that fellow, whatever his name was, killed him, acquitted. Temporary insanity. That momentum builds up. They don't know what they're doing. If you want to live your life like this, it's a choice you have. But if you want to achieve anything in this world, if you want to live any kind of quality of life, this will not do. So he says, be taught, O faithful consort. Parthasarathy is talking to Laodamia. Be taught, O faithful consort, to control rebellious passion. For the gods approve the depth and not the tumult of the soul. There should be depth in our emotions, not tumult. A deep emotion is not portrayed like that. These are surface emotions which come and disturb us, ruin us. The gods approve the depth and not the tumult of the soul, not the agitations, but the depth of the feeling. A fervent, not ungovernable love. If only we can learn this thing today. A fervent, not ungovernable love. To feel from the bottom of your heart and to keep it entirely within your governance. That is the stature, that is the dignity of a human being. To not have emotions means you've reduced yourself to an inanimate object. To have emotions and function on those emotions, this is an animal life. To have emotions, deep emotions, pure emotions, noble emotions, but governed emotion. This is a human being of some caliber. That's what he's advising her. Thy transports moderate and meekly mourn. Moderate it. Meekly mourn. This is pain. Everybody understands it's pain. There's a difference between when it's hot in Mumbai, it's hot. You've seen, some people say, oh, it's so hot, I can't do anything, it's too hot. Other people also feel the same heat. They go on and continue with their life. They're a normal person. So just because we feel something doesn't mean we have to topple over. Thy transports moderate and meekly mourn when I depart, for brief is my sojourn. We have to understand that our sojourn with anybody is brief. With anybody, with anything. It's a question of time. And when it comes, of course we will feel something. Of course we will feel. Somebody near to us, dear to us, goes away. Naturally we would feel something. Thy transports moderate and meekly mourn when I depart, for brief is my sojourn. Wherefore, Laodamia can't take this advice. Wherefore, did not Hercules by force wrest from the guardian monster of the tomb Alcestis a reanimated corse, given back to dwell on earth in vernal bloom? Medea's spells dispersed the weight of years, and Aeson stood a youth mid youthful peers. So what nonsense? Why do I have to believe this? Why do I have to take it that it will change? Is it not true that from the tomb these people have come back? Why can't you come back? The nature of attachment, the nature of mind-driven things is they will not face facts. And she gives examples. She says Hercules wrested somebody back from the tomb. Alcestis came back from the tomb. Why can't my husband Parthasarathy come back from the tomb? Why should I meekly mourn? Let me change this. I do not accept this. To which Parthasarathy says, the wonderful thing about Parthasarathy is, no matter what she says, no matter what she does, always eternally patient with her. He doesn't say, what rubbish are you talking? Never. He doesn't talk like that. He has great love for her, deep emotion for her. And therefore is always 100% patient. He says, the gods to us are merciful. He's replying to what she has just said. The gods to us are merciful. And they yet further may relent. For far mightier than strength of nerve and sinew or sway of magic potent over sun and star is love, though oft to agony distressed, and though his favourite seat be feeble woman's breast. Says the gods to us are merciful, and they may further relent. Yes, it is possible. Some other miracle may happen. The gods to us are merciful. It is a wonderful concept that is existent. Even Ramatirtha talks about that if you have had a desire, because you are God Himself, because you are the Self, whatever you want, you shall obtain. This is the law of this universe. Whatever be your desire, you have to get that thing. In fact, Ramatirtha puts a twist on it. He used to cry in his pillow every night because he had in the past desired something, and those things will have to come to him. He said, oh dear, how could I have asked? Now I know that all of these things are going to come to me. So it's a law of life that whatever we have desired, you are the Self, you are God Himself, you are omnipotent. Whatever you have desired has to come to you. That is your power. So he says, yes, the gods may relent. In other words, you'll get whatever you want. For far mightier than strength of nerve and sinew. Strength of nerve and muscle is whose? Who is he talking about? Hercules. Or sway of magic potent. That's media spells. Okay? So far stronger than magic, far stronger than physical prowess is love. Love is the strongest power. It has the whole human being's soul behind it. It's the strongest thing. So he says, far mightier than physical strength or magic potent is love, though oft to agony distressed. But what is that love doing for us? Giving us only agony. And though his favourite seat be feeble woman's breast, means, if any feminist here, please don't fight with Wordsworth. What he means is ungoverned love. His favourite seat is. Where is love usually found? You find two types of people. Some who don't feel at all. Some who feel a lot and are carried away with it. So where does love stay? It stays usually in the hearts of people who are getting carried away. Rare is the individual who can feel to the depths of his being and never get carried away. He explains to her, yes, it is possible. You will get what you want. Because love is so powerful. And it's such a powerful thing that sometimes our intellect is not able to govern it. Sometimes not. Most times. It just goes. Laodamia replies, but if thou goest, I follow. She's not willing to listen to anything. Peace, he said. She looked upon him and was calmed and cheered. The ghastly colour from his lips had fled, and in his deportment, shape and mien appeared Elysian beauty, melancholy grace, brought from a pensive though a happy place. If thou goest, I follow. You see, this is all rebellious passion. The passion is speaking, not any sensible thing. If thou goest, I follow. If you go now, I'm going to go with you. Peace, he said. This cannot be. You cannot. There are times where the parting takes place. You cannot go. A beautiful example of this is when Krishna, Krishna was taken away from his royal home and brought up among the cowherds. And when he was brought up among the cowherds, all the cowherds were his friends, the gopis were his friends, and his dearest love was Radha. And when his identity was known and he had to come back to the royal court, he offers Radha, he tells her that, I am the prince, we will go now back to the court. To which she gives him this fantastic answer, which tells us why is Radha Krishna worshipped so much. She wasn't even his wife. Yet if you have to explain love between a man and woman, you show Radha Krishna, which is a really strange thing. Why don't you do Krishna and Rukmini, or Krishna and Satyabhama, or Krishna and you have thousands of options, you could do anyone. None of them, none of his wives. And he are taken as the symbol of perfect love. So who is the symbol of perfect love with Krishna? Radha, of all the people in the world. And if you know the story, they were hardly together for a short period. Yet she is considered the eternal love. Why? When he leaves, very, very interesting, he leaves, he offers to take her. She tells him, you are a prince, but I am a cowherd girl, I am a gopi. My place is here. My place is not in a royal court. This is my life. And that's why they part. He goes to his life, she continues living her life. Can you even conceive what this means? So much love for each other. For centuries after that, they have become the symbol of perfect love. And yet, each star is in its sphere. It doesn't move. She doesn't get carried away. At no stage does she take a wrong decision because of her love. Neither does Krishna. He doesn't say, okay, forget royal court, I'm staying here. They both have a life. They live their life. Oh, but didn't they miss each other? No, they never thought each other apart. They were always together. Not in their minds, in your minds also they're together. Though they've hardly lived together for a few years. Not even lived, been together for a few years. So she just says goodbye to him. This is pure love. You feel so satisfied with pure love. If we have love in our heart, we feel so satisfied with it that you actually don't even need the other person. It's so fulfilling to experience that. Versus attachment, where you feel forever unfulfilled. You never get that feeling of fulfillment. You never get that feeling of completeness. He doesn't do this, she doesn't do that. There's always some demand. There's always some expectation. There's always some hope that the other person is going to do something out of which I am going to feel fulfilled. How do we even understand that if should I love this person completely, I will be completely happy? How do we even reach that stage of understanding, forgetting doing that? No demands, no wanting. He'll explain all that. So he says, if thou goest, I follow. He's not willing to listen. Peace, he said. He just has to say peace when she comes down. Why? There's peace in his heart. She looked upon him and was calmed and cheered. She requires to be calmed and cheered because she is not calmed and cheered. He does not require this. He just has to say peace. That peace within her, within him, is peace in the environment. He has Elysian beauty, heavenly beauty, a melancholy grace. Melancholy because for him also it's sad to be apart from her, brought from a pensive though happy place. What is the description of heaven? A thoughtful and happy place. Pensive and happy place. He spake of love, such love as spirits feel, in worlds whose course is equable and pure, no fears to beat away, no strife to heal, the past unsighed for and the future sure, spake of heroic arts in graver mood revived, with finer harmony pursued. He spake of love, such love that spirits feel. Who are the spirits? Sattvic people. This is the love that Sattvic people feel. What sort of love? In worlds whose course is equable and pure. What is the nature of true love? It's equal. It's equal to all. It is not preferential. It is not for this person and not for that person. If we had love for one human being in our heart, we would be able to love the whole world. Be universal love. One person you love the whole world. So what is true love? It's equal love. It's equable love. Meaning it does not change its nature. The nature of our love is a bit changing, no? One day I love you so much, next day I hate you. Changing. One day I'll do anything for you, other day I can't stand you. It's not consistent, it's not straight. It's not the same no matter how the other person behaves. If husband brings the diamond ring, oh what a lovely person. He forgets the diamond ring, what a horrible person. Equable and pure. When it is pure, it's equable. I love you regardless of the way you behave. My love is not dependent upon the way you behave. My love comes from me, not from you. If you're good, I get love. If you're bad, I get hatred. This is called dependent love. Independent love means I love you, full stop. I love you as because of the person I am, not because of the person you are. If I'm a pure person, I will have love. If I'm not a pure person, I will not have love. You can be anybody or anything. Love, such love that spirits feel, means Parthasarathic people feel, whose course is equable and pure. Why is it equable and pure? No fears to beat away. No, why no fears to beat away?
There are no expectations.
Nothing to lose. Nothing to lose. Otherwise, oh, who is my husband looking at? Where is my wife gone? Nothing to lose. The other person can go anywhere. My love is my fulfillment. The person is not my fulfillment. No strife to heal. No fears to beat away. No strife to heal. The past unsighed for. The future sure. Meaning what? A person who loves stays in the present. He has no regrets for the past. He has no hopes for the future. There's nothing to get, nothing to lose. The nature of a Sattvic person is that he is completely capable of feeling, of experiencing, of enjoying that we are not capable of. We never have experienced anything because we are never in the moment. Half our attention is somewhere else. If we sit in this class, I have to tell this to that person, he really needs to study Laodamia. Gone, no, mind is gone. We're not studying. Let us study. Forget who else needs to study. Let us learn this. Oh, tomorrow morning is Monday morning. I must remember I have those things. We cannot experience anything. We have not experienced joy. We have not experienced sorrow. We have only experienced excitement. That's all we've ever experienced. In fact, even with food, it's very interesting that a greedy hog, blah, 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 he puts it all in. Such a person never experiences the food. He swallowed it. See, there's only 3 inches that you can experience on, right? if it doesn't last on those 3 inches for even 2 seconds, what are you going to enjoy? A person who genuinely enjoys food, you will notice, always eats very slowly. Because they are tasting it. People asked you, what did you have for lunch? You say, means what? It's gone. It was never experienced. The past unsighed for, the future sure. He stays in the present. Spake of heroic arts in graver mood, revived with finer harmony pursued. Whatever you're pursuing, whatever arts you have, it should be with finer harmony, a subtler way. And what are these heroic arts? A noble cause, something better in life, something nobler, higher. Of all that is most beauteous imaged there, in happier beauty, more pellucid streams and ampler ether, a diviner air, and fields invested with purpureal gleams, climes which the sun who sheds the brightest day earth knows is all unworthy to survey. What is he describing? The state of heaven. Okay? Now what is important for us to understand is, in today's life, everybody has this term, quality of life. He is saying that a person who lives life in that manner gets this quality of life. Of all that is most beauteous image there, of all the most wonderful things of heaven, what is it? More pellucid streams, clear streams. The rivers are clear. An ampler ether, a diviner air. And fields invested with purpureal gleams. The quality of life improves when the quality of the person improves. By getting more money, if quality of life were to improve, then Kubera should have a wonderful quality of life. Kubera, Kubera is the yaksha in charge of wealth. And he has, I don't know if you've read the description, 8 protruding teeth, short, pot-bellied, dark. There is no quality of life. It's portrayed like that. This quality of life only comes to us when our caliber improves. That is what is called heaven. Because my caliber is good, my experience of life is good. Yet there the soul shall enter which hath earned this privilege by virtue. What's the virtue? How do you earn this quality of life? What happened? What is the virtue he's talking about? Okay, that comes out of this living in the moment. All this is people who do that get this. Sacrificial nature. That's what he's talking about. Yet there the soul shall enter which had earned that privilege by virtue. Remember, that's what he's talking about. If you have unselfishness, noble, heroic mindset, you will enter the state where you have this wonderful quality of life. Everything you experience will be experienced in brighter colors. Everything we experience now is darker colors. So, the description of heaven is usually given that if you eat an ice cream here, if you get X quality of joy, in heaven if you eat that same ice cream, you will get 2000x joy. It only means if your mind is calm, you will enjoy things more. That's all it means. So here, ill he said, the end of man's existence I discerned, who from ignoble games and revelry could draw, when we had parted, vain delight. While tears were thy best pastime, day and night. Ill is the end of man, who spends all his time in pastime. We are always doing this. Time pass we are doing. Pastimes we have. We don't understand, it is not time that is passing, it is we who are passing. Every moment we are wasting, time cannot be wasted. Time is eternal, it's going on. It is we who are being wasted. So we spend our time in doing things which are futile Nothing has happened to time, but we have gone closer to the grave. So he said, ill the end of man's existence I discern. You've lived in vain. Imagine this is our last moment now, okay? And Yamraj is standing in front of us, ready to take us away. What will you think? Will you look back on your life and say, I am happy, I have done what I came here to do? Or would you feel, oh my God, what have I done? This is a question each person has to ask himself. It says, if you have spent your time in ignoble games and revelry, if you have found vain delight in it, then it has been a futile existence. A human being alone can do something noble. And being born a human being, not having done anything noble, it's a tragic waste. And while my youthful peers before my eyes, each hero following his peculiar bent, prepared themselves for glorious enterprise by martial sports, or seated in the tent, chieftains and kings and council were detained, what time the fleet at Aulis lay enchained. The wished for wind was given. I then revolved the oracle upon the silent sea. And if no worthier led the way, resolved that of 1,000 vessels, mine should be the foremost prow in pressing to the sand, mine the first blood that tinged the Trojan sand. He's telling her what the sequence of events, what was happening. They were all sitting in those vessels. But what have they been spending their time previously doing? In all ignoble games, ill revelry and all that. Now here has come a time for them to do something. Is it possible that if your whole life has gone in ignoble things, when the time for sacrifice will come, we'll do it? It's not possible. It's not possible that suddenly someone's going to change. So all those fellows who had spent their life in that manner, now here has come the time. Somebody has to go, right? So he says, my youthful peers, all my colleagues over there, what were they doing? They were preparing themselves for glorious enterprise. All our life we have prepared ourselves that something glorious we are going to do. Never actually done anything. Sitting in their tents, meetings, memos, many things to be done. Like when we were children, I don't know if you did that. Most teenagers, the exam is coming. They start with making a timetable. They spend 3-4 days making a fantastic timetable. And then, that is the end. Timetable is fantastic. Same thing these fellows have done. First they were playing the games. Now they are in discussion. Group discussion they are having. Who should jump? Who should go? Who should do what? When the time for action comes, nobody is available. So what did he do? He resolved to himself that if no one jumps, no one more worthy jumps, I'm going to do this. He resolved to do. It shows you that prodigal loss is not impulsive. See, though he is sacrificial, it's not sacrificial out of an impulse. He has resolved to do this. He's only waiting to see if anyone more worthy. Because the higher the person who does it, the more glory to his side, right? So he's just waiting to see if anyone else is going to go. He's not jumping in. He's not impulsive. He's not attached to it either. See, when we want to do something, we do not want anyone else to do that action. If a mother is used to giving her son milk and the daughter-in-law comes, she doesn't like it if daughter-in-law will give the milk. अरे मुझे देना था, मेरा काम है ये. Maids also, they don't like it if the other one does their work. मेरा काम है. Either we don't want to do work or we are attached to work. So here these fellows, they don't want to do anything. They are busy having meetings. He is willing to be sacrificial But even in that, he is not attached. He is neither impulsive nor attached. He didn't just jump in without thinking. He thought about it. He waited to see the general situation and then he took the plunge. Otherwise, sometimes our good intentions are like a bull in the china shop, Sometimes when people go to help people, they become they become the problem. See the Parthasarathy's character here, through each thing that he shows, is something amazing. Everything about him is perfect. He's a perfect husband too. Yet bitter, oft times bitter, was the pang when of thy loss I thought, beloved wife. On thee too fondly did my memory hang, and on the joys we shared in mortal life, the paths which we had trod, these fountains, flowers, my new planned cities and unfinished hours. He had a life, right? He had this wonderful wife, a wonderful relationship. He had whatever work he was doing. He was the prince of the land, so he was building his castles, his towers, his whatever infrastructure he was building. He had something going, and his mind went back to those things. He was about to give up everything, right? And his mind went back. Yet bitter, oft times bitter, was the pang when of thee I thought, beloved wife. He had to leave everything that was dear to him. Does it remind you of anything? Yet bitter, oft times bitter. Reminds you of anything? In the Gita? Sattvic happiness begins as poison, ends as nectar. Rajasic happiness begins as nectar, ends as poison. Yet bitter, oft times bitter, was the pang when of thy loss I thought, beloved wife. It's showing that he also has the same very active emotional life. He's not I don't feel anything. He's not like that. He feels it. He has all his loves for his work, for his life, everything. So then what happened? But should suspense permit the foe to cry, behold they tremble. Haughty they array, yet of their number no one dares to die. In soul I swept the indignity away, old frailties then recurred. But lofty thought, in act embodied, my deliverance wrought. So though his mind went to all those things which he enjoyed, which he had lived, what happened? But lofty thought, what is the solution? But lofty thought in act embodied. Lofty thought alone, no. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, no. Lofty thought in act embodied, actually done. My deliverance wrought. Deliverance from what? From sorrow. How will I get liberated from sorrow? If I have a lofty ideal and I work for it. We may have lofty ideals. All people who are interested in Vedanta has lofty ideals. They can relate to higher thoughts, obviously. Question is, what are we doing about it? If you couldn't relate to it, you wouldn't be sitting here. Or if you were sitting here, you'd be fast asleep. Most are awake, I think. So, lofty thought is possible. In act embodied. Has it converted to action? Some people are very active, especially demonic people are very active. They don't have lofty thought. Noble people, very lofty thoughts. If you go to Calcutta, you will see everybody sitting around, all wonderful thoughts they have. But not in act embodied. So when we have the capacity to fix higher ideals in life, noble ideals in that, and work hard, there is no substitute to hard work, unfortunately. That you have to do. If you do it, you get what you want. But when these frailties come, frailties came to Parthasarathy also, naturally. It is a human condition. You do feel things. So how do you get out of this? Lofty thought in act embodied, my deliverance wrought. And thou, though strong in love, you understand, Parthasarathy is still speaking, right? So thou means Laodamia. And thou, though strong in love, art all too weak in reason, in self-government too slow. I counsel thee by fortitude to seek our blessed reunion in the shades below. The invisible world with thee hath sympathized. Be thy affections raised and solemnized. And thou, O Laodamia, though you are strong in love, you have very strong emotions, art all too weak in reason, in self-government too slow. Intellect is not controlling the mind. I counsel thee by fortitude to seek our blessed reunion in the shades below. We will meet again at a future point. Wait it out. The invisible world with thee hath sympathized. She got the sympathy of the gods, right? He's come back to her. Be thy affections raised and solemnized. Please learn to raise and solemnize your affections. So what is that? He's going to explain. Learn by mortal yearning to ascend, seeking a higher object. Love was given, encouraged, sanctioned, chiefly for that end. For this the passion to excess was driven, that self might be annulled. Her bondage proved the fetters of a dream opposed to love. So beautifully Wordsworth puts it. He says, why was love given to us? Why were we given such a powerful emotion called love? What is the purpose? Why is there this emotion that can force us into doing so many things? You know, mothers, when they see that there has been documented cases when children are below a car, the mother actually lifts the car up. You've heard that? They do miraculous things. People who have this deep love and affection, that force of that love makes people do all sorts of things. Isn't it? How much a mother does for the child. Anybody, wherever there's love, they do tremendous things. So why was this force of love given? That self might be annulled. The force of love is there to take our selfishness away from us. What we do is we convert that force to increase our selfishness. It is almost like the drain pipes in the house are given to take the dirt away, but what the drain pipes are doing are bringing the dirt in. This is what is happening. So why is it? Why was this passion to excess driven? Why have we been given this very powerful, almost uncontrollable force in us? That self might be annulled. Learn by mortal yearning to ascend. You can begin by loving mortal yearning, but it must lead to rising higher, to ascend, seeking a higher object. Use that power to seek a higher object. Love was given, encouraged, sanctioned, chiefly for that end. That self might be annulled. Her bondage prove the fetters of a dream opposed to love. But if you convert it to bondage, if you convert it to attachment, it will become fetters, it will become chain, it will become your jail. You will be tied to it. When you get tied to an object of attachment, anything that happens to the object of attachment happens to you. Since that is so, even when nothing has happened to the object of attachment, you will be worrying about it. Isn't it? Mother will worry to death about the child. Her bondage proved the fetters of a dream opposed to love. Instead of driving that love towards a higher object, we make a coil around ourselves and suffocate ourselves. Aloud she shrieked, she shouted. Initially, Laodamia shouted. Why? Hermes reappears. Remember Hermes? Mercury had brought Parthasarathy. He's come again. Obviously, the 3 hours are over. Round the dear shade she would have clung. 'Tis vain. The hours are past. Too brief had they been years. And him no mortal effort can detain, swift towards the realms that know not earthly day. He through the portal takes a silent way, and on the palace floor her lifeless corse she lay. Hermes comes back to take Parthasarathy away, and she would have clung on to him, but she's already tried that. She knows that it cannot be held. It's a phantom, you can't hold it. The hours are past. Too brief had they been years. You should understand what that means. At any point the parting takes place, it will be painful. So we can say, oh, she got him only for 3 hours. Too brief had they been years. At no point would she have said, I've had enough of Parthasarathy, now he can die. Would she have ever said that? If a person, let us say, has been married to somebody for 50 years, would he after those 50 years say, it's okay now, this person can die? Impossible. Too brief had they been years. No matter how much it would have gone on, that pain would have been there. And him no mortal effort can detain. That's what we have to understand about life. There are mortal efforts that cannot stop change. We can put an effort, but we cannot stop change. Swift towards the realms that know not earthly day, through the portal takes a silent way. Parthasarathy has gone off with Hermes. And what happens to Laodamia? She lies on the palace floor. A lifeless corpse she lay. She's dead. She dies. She can't take this thing. So you see, what has she done? She has not only lost Parthasarathy, she has lost herself in this attachment. Thus all in vain exhorted and reproved she perished, and as for a wilful crime, by the just gods whom no weak pity moved, was doomed to wear out her appointed time, apart from the happy ghosts that gather flowers of blissful quiet mid unfading bowers. That's all in vain. How much he explained to us, how much he told her what is love, what is attachment, everything is explained to her. Be taught, O faithful consort, to control rebellious passion, for the gods approve the depth and not the tumult of the soul. How much he explained to her. Meekly mourn when I depart, for brief is my sojourn. Please understand, while the relationship is on, that the sojourn is brief. So much he explained to her. What is love? What is change? All about life he's explained to her. But all in vain. Exhorted and reproved. So much, all that explanation. She perishes. We must make sure this is not our fate. All the explanation, all that Vedanta has told us, all that we have studied. In vain, all in vain, exhorted and reproved, she perished. As for a willful crime. You know, even in law, ignorance of law is not considered a defense. Just because you don't know the law doesn't mean that the law won't apply. If you don't know fire burns and you put your finger in it, it will still burn. As for a willful crime, she is getting punished as if it were a willful crime by the just gods whom no pity moved. Just gods in this case refers to weak pity does not move whom? Just gods whom the weak pity would not move. Who is this? What happened? Equate. Always equate. See the same beautiful laws functioning in all things. Just gods are whom? Just gods. The law of causation. Law of causation. As the cause, so the effect. For a crime, you will be punished. It's actually not a punishment. It is the effect of that particular cause. We call it punishment. If you choose to be an attached, dependent person, you will be a miserable person when the change takes place. It's a law. This is the law of causation. So he's saying that the just gods cannot be moved by weak pity. The law of causation, like suppose a child puts his hand in the fire, will the fire say, oh bichara, he's just a small child, usko kya pata hai, chalo, isko nahi jalate. It doesn't work like that. You could be anybody. The law of causation will apply. There's no weak pity there. So what happens? She was doomed to wear out her appointed time. She's died when she is not supposed to perish. So she's doomed to wear out her appointed time apart from the happy ghosts. That means she did not reach heaven. See, she's so silly. If she had done what she had to do properly, then at the end of her appointed time, she would have gone and met Parthasarathy and they would have lived happily ever after. But no. It's the same story of the golden goose. Remember the golden goose? He said, I'm getting one golden egg every day. If I hurry up this process, then I'll get so many. So I'll cut the goose and take all the eggs at one time. It doesn't work like that. If she had meekly mourned, means she had gone along with what was happening instead of placing this rebellious resistance, she would have gone to heaven and she and Parthasarathy would have lived happily ever after. We wouldn't have had this poem then, but she would have been happy. But she didn't. So she could not reach that heavenly state. She could not reach that happy state. Yet tears to human suffering are due, and mortal hopes defeated and overthrown are mourned by man and not by man alone, as fondly he believes. Upon the side of Hellespont such faith was entertained, a knot of spiry trees for ages grew, and from out the tomb of him for whom she died, and ever when such stature they had gained that Ilium's walls were subject to their view, the trees' tall summits withered at the sight, a constant interchange of growth and blight. So what happens to this person? She eventually becomes a creeper. Okay, and there's a saying there's a particular creeper that grows to a certain height, and when the walls of Ilium are seen, that dies. You know, some creeper that grows up to a certain height basically. So the belief is that that creeper is really Laodamia, because she lived like a creeper, right? Always trying to lean. What is a creeper's life? It can't stand by itself. It's not a tree. It's always leaning on something, always dependent on something. And what happens to such a creeper? It gets blight, it gets diseased, it dies. So this creeper, there's a saying that mortal suffering is not by mortals alone. It's shared by nature. Means the whole truth is shared. Upon the side of Hellespont, that means in Troy, such faith was entertained, such a superstitious belief there was. A knot of spiry trees for ages grew from out of the tomb of him for whom she died. Means from Parthasarathy's tomb, these creepers would grow. And when they reached such a height that they saw the towers of Ilium, they got a blight, they got disease, means they died. A constant interchange of growth and blight. So it would grow and die. Come up to a certain point and fade off. Is this not the story of our life? Growth and death. Growth and death. A pointless, creeper-like existence. You come up to a certain point, you make all these mistakes, wreck yourself, die. Start your life all over again, come up to a certain point, make a lot of mistakes, die. A constant interchange of growth and blight. When you live the life of attachment. If you do not live the life of attachment, you grow and grow and grow till you reach the infinite, till you reach self-realization. Okay, thank you.